Hi, I've had such a rock and roll day today. It started with morning. I go over and steal coffee out of my dad's house because he has an easy way to make coffee, and just the way over. Well, I woke up and cuddling my daughter, and it was just so nice. And then went to steal my coffee like I always do, and my heart was just there was just this freedom. And so I allowed in my heart this feeling of freedom in my heart, and this story that I put there deliberately, that I have all this freedom, time, and money to do big, amazing things in the world and help just a lot of people. And so this is why I talk about the law of attraction, just feeling that feeling, just pulling that in, like just making that in my heart, just holding that feeling of freedom in my heart, that feeling of freedom, love, abundance of finances, abundance of time, more than enough. That's what abundance is. More than enough time, freedom, and money to do like big, amazing things in the world, and like just so what I would call rock and roll. So like rock and roll to me is just like freedom and like self-expression, and it's like genuine, it's like raw, it's like people living authentically, like I don't have anything against like Taylor Swift or any of these people, but it's something like two guys that have written like over 50 #1 hit songs. They write these songs for these people, these pop singers and stars, and they're cute and they're catchy and they're nice and they have their place. But like Led Zeppelin and Bob Dylan, The Who, like those songs, it's like they wrote their own stuff. And like two of my boyfriends, at least two, were in bands, and then two of the other, the other two drove Jeeps. So it's really just freedom, different different forms of expressing freedom. Okay, so take the kids to the bus stop, and just holding that rock and roll feeling in my heart, what it means to me. It doesn't have to mean the same for you, but whatever label that you put on something has that meaning for you. So for me, the rock and roll means a certain thing. And driving the kids to the bus, which is a very short drive, but we live on a dirt road, so the bus can't come down my road. And Led Zeppelin, like one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs, is playing, and all the windows are open and the sunroof's open, and I'm like, doing that screechy sing along. And I said to my son, like, it finished right before we turned off the car, and I said, that is one of the best songs that will ever be written, ever. So I dropped my son off, and I'm just like on this high vibrational, like, freedom, like just being in touch with a feeling of freedom. So, when we're younger, we're like blasting Led Zeppelin or any song that we love as we drive down the road, like as a teenager, and there's that feeling of freedom. I was accessing that, even though it's like, what? God, oh my God, 30 years later. But I was back to that feeling of freedom from 30 years ago, and now I have children, and so I'm empathic. I can feel, and I could feel that my feeling of freedom in my heart, and the way I was feeling this morning, like it was for me, but my children were getting a lot out of it too, because 90% of their behavior is modeled, so they see me being free, even though I'm not a great singer. Is that hard to believe? I'm not a great singer, but it's like still doesn't matter. Like it's just this Led Zeppelin song is a lot of yelling anyway, and I was doing that just fine. So, you know, my kids are just awesome, and it's cool to be able to access that freedom from 30 years ago in this moment when I have 2 children that I'm taking to a bus stop, which is a very mundane, you know, motherly, responsible, blah, 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 which seems to be the opposite of freedom. But when you can take 2 opposites and bring them together, and then you're living, you know, the yin-yang, it's the balance. You have the balance between the responsibility and the freedom. It's like bliss. And it's like a blending of when you have the perfect blend and balance of male and female energy. It doesn't matter what you are. I mean, it doesn't matter what you identify as. When you find your own personal perfect balance of male, female, the energies inside you, and there's so much peace and harmony there. And then I started telling my kids a story from when I was younger. And then I was driving back from the bus stop, and my son was the one who put the radio on, and it was I-95, which is pure rock and roll. That's our only rock and roll station. They only play pretty much old rock and roll songs, which is cool. And these guys on there, Ethan and Lou, were talking about, they were bitching about like what's going on now, like how things are now, and it was highly entertaining. It was very funny, and and then I remembered in high school so in 1984 I was a freshman in high school, and we were not allowed to wear shorts in my high school, and so it's hot now. This is what reminded me. It's like 86 degrees now, and I remember in high school we could wear girls could wear mini skirts, and no one was allowed to wear any shorts. So girls would wear skirts, and guys would be like having to wear pants in high school. And so some of the guys started wearing mini skirts, and it was just awesome. That was so rock and roll, that spirit, where these guys were like, fuck it, we're gonna wear mini skirts then too. Fuck it, you know, if the girls can wear, why can't we? And just want to point out, like, really quick, there's a huge difference between fuck it and fuck you. Fuck it. It's like a rock and roll energy. It's like, I'm not gonna let that get to me. I'm not gonna let that get to me. It's like, I'm just gonna do this. This is genuine for me. This is raw for me. This is rock and roll, you know? And then, fuck you. It can be so hateful, negative, and low vibration. It can be so victim, like, oh, fuck you, you're hurting my feelings, you know, you said the wrong word. And, you know, a lot of us we're working, we have kids, whatever. We don't have time to learn the new words that we're supposed to use now that they're trying to promote in college. And it's like, you know, if you're in college and you think that I'm supposed to learn your new language, I don't have time. I love you. I respect you and your own free speech. You can use all those words, all those great words, you know, and you know that I have a lot of gay friends and relatives actually too, and like all the words like lesbian, gay, bisexual, I know what those are, and then it keeps going. And there's a guy on Twitter named Sir Shadalay, and he had this picture of I think it was a guy dressed like a woman, but like, that's why I don't know if it was a guy. I'm not 100% sure, because she was beautiful, and the person was saying, am I a man? Do I feel like a man or a woman? I don't know. I just feel like shit. and then I responded with add S, you know, for shit, to the new long list of forced acceptance. And the thing is, I accept everybody. I don't care if you're gay, bisexual, lesbian, trans, you know, all those letters. Well, there is one, the one that's like pedosexual, that's like thinks it's okay to be sexual with children. I have an issue with. So I have seen signs where that is added to the long list of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, all that. And if I were if I were a lesbian, if I were LGBT or T, I would have a problem with the P. But anyway, so this man, I think, dressed as a woman, said she feels like shit, and I said, add S to the long list of forced acceptance. So all the letters that come after, I accept all those except for the pedosexual. That one, I'll never accept that. Because if you look into it, it's really, anyway, whatever. I'm not talking about that. That wasn't supposed to be in this video. Anyway, so it's just fun. Like, it's just so fun. So anyway, my mind was like rock and roll. And then listening to these guys on I-95, I remember that in 1984, and all my friends, these guys were wearing miniskirts, and they were getting in trouble, sent to the office, all this stuff. They said, it's not fair, you know, the girls can wear skirts, why can't we wear them too then, if you're not going to let us wear shorts? And so I said, well, you know what, let's just push to where everybody wears shorts. So we picked a day, and we all brought, I said, just, you know, I just like got 10 people, I think, maybe only like 10 people. I said, just bring all your shorts that you own and bring them and put them in your locker and hand them out to people to put on. So we ended up getting, so we did this thing. We had all these shorts, all 10 of us brought shorts. We told as many people as we could, and everybody wore shorts and brought shorts to give to people who didn't know about it and then wanted to change. So we did this. Anyway, we all got stuck in the high school auditorium. And we were locked in. We were shut in there. We weren't allowed to be in the school, and the school didn't know what to do. And at one point, and people were playing like games, and it was really fun. It was really, really fun. So I ended up telling them I had to go pee, and they let me out, and I ran to the payphone. We had payphones then. I had to borrow a quarter or a dime, I think. I don't even remember. And I called I-95, and I said, hey, I'm in Milford High School. We're shut in the auditorium. Come to the side because we have shorts on. And I said, come see us. Come do it on the radio. And then, you know, of course, by then the security guard or whatever shut me down. And the radio station, they came and we let them in and they did a story. It was really cool. But anyway, long story short, we all got to wear shorts after that day. So that was cool. One of my rebel moments. But so I ended up, I'm 47. So that was what, 14, 47, you know, 34 years ago. And I remembered the phone number of the radio station. So their conversation was making me crack up all the way back from the bus stop. And so I get home and I was like, I wonder if I remember this number right. And I did. And so I call them and I'm like, hey, you know, I heard you guys talking about all this resistance, you know, to the way things are and right now. And I said, you're hurting yourself and I can help you. And they're like, oh, you can help me. And yeah. It was a great 2-minute fast conversation. And then I knew they were going to use it, so, oh, that's why they took me. All right. I knew they were going to use it, so I ended up, like, taping this voice memo. Well, so, it's pretty quiet.
We don't like what's going on in the world. In a very general sense, yeah. In the future. And then we get a call from a Reiki master. Who says what they do is life flows within the physical body through pathways, and you want to get that positive energy going. Otherwise, if you have all that negative energy all the time, it can make you sick.
Right. She told us we need
It's a lot more complicated
to vibrate with joy. And then she asked if we wanted to hear the 4 principles, and I said I only have time for 1.
Right. She gave us the 1.
Right.
I forgot it already.
She Reiki'd us. I didn't see it coming. She button hooked us.
Did you hear what I said, though?
What?
Yeah, metal Reiki or wood Reiki?
That was good.
Yeah. No, but yeah, she's got a point.
She was positive. She was nice.
Bad vibes.
She was just trying to help.
Bad moods and bitching and moaning all the time and being unhappy can play with your physical self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But an abundance of positivity doesn't make for a great radio show, in my opinion. That's all I have to say about that. Don't nobody want to hear that all day. You've listened to those shows. Right. They're not so awesome. Oh, God.
Anyway, so they were awesome. So I said I could help them, and then so they needed me to boil everything down to one. And it was them. They go, "Are you a Reiki master?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And I'm having a class this weekend, but it's probably too late for anyone to hear this and then decide to get into it. But anyway, he said, "I don't have time for four. Can you just give me one?" And I said, I could boil it down to, what is producing joy for you right now? And so they were really cute, really fun, just so fun. And then I get in my car and I'm driving to the welding shop, and I hear probably my favorite song by The Who, Teenage Wasteland song. It's just been such a rock and roll day, and I've just had such an easy time maintaining that feeling. And so I wanted to do this video right now because it really starts, like, how do you start your morning? What do you want to feel like? And so one thing after another, I've just been able to easily hold the vibration for me that means rock and roll, where it's like genuine, authentic, like, and total fucking freedom, just fucking freedom and ease. And like, you know, the scene from Easy Rider when they're on their motorcycles, and it's like, and I think it is really super important right now. We've got a lot of energy pouring through the whole world right now, and you look at, well, if you look at, so there's a lot of like Trump voters and stuff that are not, I'm not ever talking about white supremacists or whatever, but there are these people like this guy, Adam Calhoun is one, and then there's a guy, I think his name is Ryan, I should know, but he's talks about hip hop. Let me see if I can find his name. But anyway, these guys, like, they call themselves like Hicks. You know, I'm not calling them that, but like, I understand them, and by understanding people, you're not afraid of them. So if you can, like, if everybody can just, let's see if his name is hip hop. It's like country and rap. I want to find this guy because he's so funny. Anyway, when you don't understand something, you're afraid of it, you know? And so Adam Calhoun, oh shit, there's another guy. He's just really funny. He's so good. I really want to. Oh, Upchurch. That's his name. I think it's Ryan Upchurch. Upchurch is his last name. It's just hilarious. Anyway, if you understand their hearts, so this is, I listen to people's hearts. This is what I do. I don't buy into these the spectrums, whether it's left versus right, you know, politically, male versus female, you know, any versus, any spectrums. I acknowledge that there's a spectrum, but when you rise above the spectrum, when you go above the spectrum, then you can have nothing but love for everyone on the spectrum. And then, you know, then the 4 principles of Renegade Yogi are easy, you know. I bless you, I forgive you, I respect your free will choice, and I love you. So by practicing these 4 principles with every single human being, it just raises your vibration, but it also makes your life more free. And these guys, like Upchurch and Adam Calhoun, you know, there's a freedom to them. I'm almost 100% sure they voted for Trump. But so the freedom is in their hearts. They enjoy the American flag because the American flag represents freedom. And it's not about being white, and it's not about Americans are better than everyone else. It's that they love their country, but they love freedom. It's about freedom. And so for me, that rock and roll vibration, for me, that's just pure freedom. You know, and that I think is what, if you start there, if you can just feel the most freedom in your heart, freedom, you don't have to, this is why people buck political correctness and why people, you know, older people, they don't want to learn the new language of, that the kids in college, you guys, you have time to learn cisgender, and you have time to learn all these things. It's like, it's not that old people don't accept, you know, it's not that older people don't accept all those letters after lesbian, gay, bi, trans, blah, blah. It's that they're like, fuck it. They're in the rock and roll vibration of, fuck it. I have kids. I got to do this. I have a house to clean. I have animals to feed. I have shit to do. I don't have fucking time to learn a new fucking language. You know what I mean? If I say male, if I say female, you know, if I call you a male and you want me to call you female, there was an awesome interview. Now this is going on a super tangent, but I'll wrap this up, I swear. What's his name? Jordan Peterson, Dr. Peterson. He was talking to another college professor, and that college professor was trying to explain to Jordan Peterson how easy it is to call people what they want to be called. So if someone wants to be called, and I can't remember all the names that there were to choose from, Zir, there's a new language where it's like, it's not male or female. I'm not doing this justice at all, but I wanted to understand this concept because I wanted to listen to the hearts of these people who don't want to be called male, female, or don't want to be called him, her, or whatever. I wanted to understand their hearts. So I listened to some of them, and there was a chart that on this one, it was a back and forth between Dr. Peterson and this other professor. And so it was really a well done interview. The interviewer that had both people on ran this interview really well and asked really relevant, pertinent questions, and was really, I felt like the interview was really, really neutral. More neutral than any interview I've seen lately, to be honest. Which is fine too. That's not a judgment. It's just the way it is. But I could clearly hear the heart of, I believe the professor was transgender, I think. And I was listening to, I think it was a woman who was dressing like a man. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I love that person, that being, no matter what. It's still, that person's being genuine. They're being authentic. They're speaking from their heart. So that's still rock and roll to me. And then Dr. Peterson was talking about how, basically like taking offense at the way I choose to express myself is an attack on the First Amendment. And basically people not using the pronouns, the non-gender specific pronouns. That's what I was looking for. People not engaging in that, like, because they're trying to make it like you have to use non-gender specific pronouns. They're trying to force people to use that. And Dr. Peterson was just saying, like, that's infringing on my First Amendment rights. So it was just well done. It's like you just listen. And I don't donate too much time to these things. I just tune in to find out where everybody's coming from, and then I get the idea. And I still think like, oh, there's still slavery in the world right now, and we're like talking about pronouns. We're trying to change pronouns, and there's still slavery. I'm like, oh, that is, to me, I don't understand that. But that's okay. You know, I don't need to. But there's people there too. I mean, there's just all kinds of people, and the world is amazing. There's so many kinds of people, and it's great. And when you listen to people's hearts, like, there's so much freedom when you can really just forgive everybody, bless everybody, respect their free will choices, and love them. It's just like pure freedom. And I want this whole video was all about just feeling freedom in your heart. And when you can feel that freedom in your heart, you can create, your own rock and roll day. You can choose to create that. You set up your energy, moving into starting your day. This is using the law of attraction in the way you want, where you're like, I feel so free, or I feel so rock and roll, I feel so genuine, I feel so abundant, and I'm doing so many good things for so many people, and I have more than enough time, freedom, and money. Like, oh my God. And then so when I vibrate at that, I raise my vibration by holding that energy in my heart. It starts in my heart, and then it moves to my whole body, and then my hands, Reiki Master hands, turn on, and then I create that. I create a whole day based on that freedom and that abundance, more than enough time, freedom, and money to do big, powerful things in the world for all these people. It's awesome. And so it's easy to let that freedom slip away. It's easy to go from 17 to 47 where you're like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. And it's not I have to bring my kids to the bus stop, but I get to bring my kids to the bus stop. And while I get to bring my kids to the bus stop, I get to listen to Led Zeppelin, and I get to yell it out of my car with all the windows open and show my kids how to feel free. I get to drive to this welding shop that we own, and it's amazing, and it helps all these people whose rims are broken and their boat stuff's broken. It's my husband's genius when it comes to metal and it comes to welding. He's and he's so passionate about it. And when he teaches welding, all these kids become passionate about welding, and then it's like recycling on the largest scale, because it's taking big metal things and little metal things and fixing them so they're not in the dumpster, they're not in the garbage. It's everything's fixed, everything can be welded, everything, you can fix anything. I mean anything. You can build anything. It's just so neat, but it's total freedom. And then in the welding shop, there's that same freedom. And one of our employees it reminds me so much of Adam Calhoun, who I just love. And it's that freedom that they have in their hearts. Adam Calhoun makes these videos. He just does whatever he wants. It's genuine, it's authentic, it's total rock and roll. And if you listen, it'll open your heart too to if you listen to him and you get that he's just coming from freedom. Freedom is my favorite color. Maybe you've heard that before. It's just that's all it is. It's not anything negative. There's nothing negative. And then, let me see, I'm trying to figure out if I want to say anything about this, but you have when I was at the airlines, there's a lot of gay flight attendants, gay male flight attendants, and people didn't really have a problem. Most of the pilots, there's only 5% women, but most of the male pilots really didn't have any problem with them. But when they were trying to shove it in people's faces, then the guys were well, what? Yeah. Then they didn't understand. They had accepted these guys, these gay guys. They had accepted them, and then when the gay guys were trying to shove it down these straight guys' throats, and I'm not going to go into it any deeper than that. That's when the straight guys were whoa, what the hell? Because they didn't understand. They were we accepted you, but now you're freaking us out. Now you're turn us, why do you have to do that, Anyway, just being authentic, being free. And then you create this authentic and free. And if more Americans had this authentic and freedom without needing, when I'm authentic and I'm free, I don't need to take anyone else's freedom away from them, If I'm listening to my own heart and I'm creating that authenticity and that freedom in my own heart, then I can see, that's what I see in other people. And I don't get tweaked or triggered by what they're saying. If I see someone who's not in a high vibration, say, or if I do see someone who's if I do see I want to say, racist or whatever they claim that the Trump people, if I do see one of those kind of a racist person or whatever, I don't hate them. I have compassion for them because their energy is disgusting. And so it's oh, I'm just gonna love you from here. Not even an air high five, just I love you from here. I respect your free will choice, but I choose not to engage with you. And then the more free I am, the higher my vibration is, and I hold on to that freedom and that love and that genuineness, then that's what comes to me. That's what comes. Just like I was holding that freedom and that rock and roll vibration, and I'm hearing my favorite rock and roll songs. Like every time I got in the car, another one, another one, another one. Everywhere I went today, it was like another song, another song. I get right through to the old rock and roll station. I just call, and it goes right through. You know, have an excellent rock and roll experience with them. That's what I created because that's what I held in my heart. That's the law of attraction in action. That's what I held in my heart. That's what I created. If you hold shit in your heart and hatred for, if you hold like hatred for racists in your heart, then guess what you're going to bring to yourself during the day? That's what you're going to bring, but you're doing it. So if you could take responsibility for what you're creating in your own life, and if you're being met, because I don't know any racists, black or white or any color, I don't know any of them. I don't know any. I really don't. You may say, well, you just don't know that they are. You know what? I'm fine with that. Because my experience in my life is that loving people, just like Wayne Dyer says, loving people live in a loving world. That's my experience. I live in a loving world. I live in freedom when I hold that vibration of freedom in my heart, and then I give that experience and that feeling to every cell in my body. I give that freedom, that abundance to my heart and every single cell in my body, and I give that joy and I give that healing experience to my being. And then guess what comes to me? Guess what comes to me? Rock and roll songs, rock and roll people, loving people, freedom loving people, and that's what I create for myself. So if your life sucks, you are holding a suck vibration, and you're bringing suck to yourself. And I love you anyway. You know, I really do. I love you anyway, and I respect you and your free will choices. And maybe that's what you want, because there are YouTubers that make money off of bitching and complaining about sucky shit. And that's what they want to create, then they have more content. And I don't judge that either. That's perfectly fine. The people, I guess, that I'm talking to are the people who think they want a life like mine, or a high vibrational life like mine. They think they want that, and they think they're going to get it by paying attention to sucky shit. But if you do that, and if you hold that vibration, that's what you bring to yourself. The law of attraction, or the universe, you know, the law of attraction is a universal law, just like gravity. It can't operate differently for you. So you're the one that has to know not to step off a 20-story building or you'll fall. You're the one that has to know how gravity works. Because it's not gravity's fault if you fall off a cliff. Okay. It's not gravity's fault. Gravity's been there long before you were there. It's going to be there long after you're gone. Same with the law of attraction. It's a universal law. It can't help it. It's just working the way it works. And it's like, just like gravity, I'm here. Use me. Use me the way you want, or use me the way you don't want. It doesn't have anything to do with me. That's just what I do. I'm just the law of attraction. And all I can do is give you what you ask for. All I can do is give you whatever you're vibrating at, is all I can give you. So I vibrated at rock and roll. I hear Led Zeppelin. I hear The Who. I turn it up, and I blast it, and I let that pounding beat heal my heart, because that's what I wanted today. So that's what I created today, with the strong intention. It all starts in the mind. My mind created my experience for today. So it's easiest to do in the morning before shit starts to happen. What do you want to create? What do you want to create in your morning? Well, hold that intention, feel it in your body for at least 68 seconds, and then start noticing when you get it back. Thank you for that Led Zeppelin song. Thank you for that Who song. Thank you for the experience of driving with the windows open and the wind blowing. And thank you for remembering what it was like to be 14. Thank you. Thank you, Law of Attraction, for what you brought to me today. And the Law of Attraction is like, dude, I just did what I do. No need to thank me. But since you're thanking me, since you're holding a vibration of gratitude, then I'm forced to give you more things to be grateful about. That's the way it is. You want to hold resistance, you're going to bring more shit to be that you're going to want to resist. I just love you guys. I just love you. And it's so easy to love you and to talk to you, and you're all rock and roll to me. Love you. Create your days. Create what you want. You decide what you want. And may I suggest freedom? If everybody chose freedom and love and set the intention, the beginning of their day, and just showed their body what it feels like to just be, in the center of the big white spotlight of the highest and holiest source creator energy. Oh, and then I just feel so free. I feel so much freedom and love. I don't have to wonder what I'm going to create. And then I start looking for it. There it is. There it is. There it is, because I'm vibrating at that level. And so law of attraction brings me whatever I'm vibrating at. Brings it right to me. Oh, magic. Fucking magic. Rock and roll, I love you. Have a great day. Love you.